am Naina. Today I am here to explain you about the poem The Sea Fever, which was written by John Masefield. This is a 12-line poem which is divided into 3 stanzas, and the rhyme scheme of this poem is AABB, and this poem was published in 1902. Now I'll explain you about the poet briefly. John Edward Masefield wanted to become a merchant marine officer. After more than 2 years of training, he apprenticed aboard a sailing ship that crossed commercial sea lanes. After becoming ill on an overseas voyage, Masefield quit his job as a sailor. He returned to England in 1897, determined to succeed as a writer. Though his writing, Masefield imaginatively returned to the sea. Now we'll jump into the poem. First I'll start with the stanza 1. Let me read it for you. I must down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by, and the wheels kick and the wind song, and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face and a grey dawn breaking. Now I'll explain the first stanza. The first stanza begins with the refrain, I must go down to the seas again, which is repeated at the beginning of each stanza, highlighting the theme of the poem. The sea is a fascinating source of inspiration for the poet. He demonstrates an obvious adoration for this wild and beautiful entity, and seems to almost compare it to a person describing her face. That desire to connect with the sea is shown through a sailor's life as he asks for a ship to sail in. He describes the sea as lonely with a grey mist on its face, lending a mysterious and melancholic air to it. Now we'll go into the stanza 2. I must down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day with the white clouds flying and flung spray and the blown spume and the seagulls crying. Now I'll explain the second stanza. In this stanza, the call of the sea goes deep into the poet's heart. The poet's descriptions convey to the reader imagery that involves all the 5 senses: listening to the seagulls crying, watching the white clouds flying, feeling the coldness of windy day, and tasting the saltiness of the flung spray and the blown spume on our tongue and nose. Now I'll read the stanza 3. I must down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gulls way and the whales way, where the wind's like a whetted knife, and all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and quiet sleep and a sweet dream when the long trick's over. Now I'll explain the stanza. The poet expresses his wish to live once again the wandering life of gypsy. He wants to move around freely with independence. There is a positive imagery with the use of words like merry yarn and a sweet dream. This stanza sums up the central message of the poem. A life at sea is full of contrasts. Cruel winds and wild waves are in a perfect harmony together with the sweet and endless freedom it allows. This is the end of this poem, guys. Thank you. This project is assigned by Samuel Sir and done by M. Naina Reddy.